This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing. Welcome to the end of your iRacing week. Welcome to UK&I Monday Night Skippys in support of the Calm Zone here from Oran Park Raceway in Australia. It is Wolverhampton standing in for Rachel Whitefoot along with Linus Brostrom as qualifying, well, it's pretty much already in the books. Drivers are doing solo qualifying here today at Oran Park. The track is clear compared to yesterday on Sunday Night Skippys. The track temperature is high. It's 37 degrees. That's 99 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind speeds, though, are high. And Linus, that will mean that these roads are going to have some issues into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's going to mean that they will be, well, they won't have a lot of grip at all, so they're going to have to be very, very patient into those first corners, which are really fast because the run down to the corner is very long as well. So about 45-50 cars going in there at once. They're going to have to be very patient on the brakes, and the people at the back of the field are not going to have much speed at all going in there.
29 drivers have set themselves qualifying times. We've got ourselves about 10 drivers who have not. And that's the issue with solo car qualifying, especially a track like this here, Linus, because it's so easy to get it wrong at a short track like Oran Park. Of course, it's also one of the 2 figure 8 racetracks that we have on the iRacing service.
It is. It's very, very narrow in places, and it's really easy to get it wrong. And once you touch the grass slightly, your qualifying time is disqualified. So you have to take it very carefully if you don't get a lap in on your first 2 attempts, as you have 3 flying laps to set a time here today. And a lot of people, like we see, have had at least one off in the qualifying. So expecting a bit of a shake-up in the field, and quite a few people not getting any times whatsoever.
Let's have a look at your starting grid for this evening's race. And on pole position will be Claire Hughes, 113.659. Simon Edwards alongside him on the front row. Simon Edwards yesterday on Sunday Night Prime Time, well, he had himself a good race and he was qualified up well and he raced well inside the top 5. It's Clark Williams in 3rd place, Lee Anderson in 4th position, Anthony Catt in 5th place, Matt Cox in 6th, Ben Daniels in P7, Chris Malcolm in P8, P9 will go to Ewan Patterson, and Andrew Leach rounds out your top 10. We talk about the driver, Simon Edwards, running yesterday, of course, as he often does in the 2K World Cup, Linus. And do you think that he's got some advantage heading into this race, knowing this track and having raced here in a competitive race yesterday?
Well, with the competition he had yesterday, he will have a slight advantage, but I think a lot of these drivers have done races here this week, I would guess, and done a lot of practice. But obviously, having done a race a little bit longer than this just yesterday, that will obviously help him, knowing what the tires does and how the car will react through the run and all that. So expect to see him up front all day long, or well, all evening, I should say.
We saw 30 drivers then set themselves a qualifying time for this race. A number more didn't. We have 38 drivers who will be taking to the grid here today. We've got Kip Stevens at the rear of the field by the looks of it, who did not set himself a qualifying time here today. But we turn our attention to the front part of your field waiting for Claire Hughes. There we can see him now on the starting grid in that number 23 machine. Simon Edwards waiting for him to join him on that front row. Final thoughts before we go green here, Linus?
Sorry, what was that?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's going to be a very good race. This track always produces amazing racing, and gonna see. Hopefully, it's good racing as we had last week when it went all the way down to the wire. So just stay on the track pretty much, because if you go off here, the grass kind of goes away from the racetrack, so you're gonna spend a lot of time off the track before you get back on it.
There's a look from the rear of your field towards the front then. We are waiting for the last couple of drivers to head themselves to the starting grid before we can get ourselves green flag racing. 20 laps of Oran Park here today on Monday Night Skippys, as ever, presented to you by the Calm Zone. The campaign against living miserably. Well, we can see the light about to go on the starting gantry, getting ourselves ready to go racing. Lights are out, green flag in the air. We are set to go racing for 20 laps here today. A fantastic start by Simon Edwards that puts him almost alongside Claire Hughes as they head themselves in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Turn 1's that long sweeping left-hander before you slow it down in towards turn number 2. And at the end of that one, Simon Edwards does have the race lead, Linus.
He does. He had a really good start there. Went past Claire Hughes into turn 1, and he's going to try and get away now into the roundabout section, I almost called it. But it's a bunch of right-handers in a row back over the bridge here, and so far we've had one car go slightly off the track, but no major incident so far, so pretty clean start once again from these guys, as the front 4 have already broken away slightly.
They have Anthony Katz at the rear of that 4-car breakaway. You can see the gap between himself and Lee Anderson is about 0.6 of a second. They've done that roundabout section. You say roundabout, you're probably quite right there. It is a section of right-hand turns all in a row. But the lap times here are quick. They're going to complete lap number 1 before you know it. It's going to be Simon Edwards from Claire Hughes, from Clark Williams, and then Anthony Katz. Lee Anderson even rounds out your top 5. And actually, I was just having a look at Anthony Katz. Was thinking about looking down to the inside of Matt Cox. Couldn't do so, but behind Ewan Patterson is alongside Ben Daniels in towards turn 1.
He's trying to make a move here, and he is gonna make. No, he's not gonna have to back out of that one actually. So Ben Daniels is gonna hold. He's gonna get that position, as Pattinson had to back out. So he's up to 7th place, leading this long train of cars. Got a bit of a gap to Cox in front of him though, so these guys will have to sort themselves out to get back up in the fight for the top 5 here as they come over the bridge once again. And we have a crash behind them.
Nicholas Von Roberts.
Believe Tufts is in that. He's upside down actually, right on the side of the road, and Von Roberts was in that as well.
Yep, so there's the replay up on your screen. Nicholas Von Roberts in the 252 car involved, but you say Tufts involved, and let's have ourselves a look at that one. Daniel Tufts, and he goes himself, well, away from our... There we are, upside down and around the roll hoop going on for him nicely, but Daniel Tufts back on towards pit road. Not a good start for him in this moderation. He's on pit road, can he get one of those fast repairs, and Nicholas Von Roberts was involved in it as well. Simon Edwards continues to lead the way though from the front of this field. He's got himself a 0.4 of a second advantage over Claire Hughes right now in the number 23 car, and from Hughes back to Williams is a third of a second. So your top 3 are pretty much equidistant almost right now in terms of your race pace, but behind that we have still got some good battles going on. Ewan Patterson, we're back on board of him as he's trying to close up to the rear of Ben Daniels.
He is, but Daniels opened up the gap slightly at the beginning of the lap though. We're coming through this little chicane here. Patterson has a good line. He's not going to be quite close enough to Ben Daniels to do anything just yet, but hitting all these lines will be very, very crucial as we're coming down towards the last corner here now as well. On board with him, you're going to see just how close they get to the pit wall here off the last corner, and we have seen before that will come into play towards the end of the race when people hit it and damage their suspension. It gets really, really close to it, but stay off it. So might have a chance to get a run here down the straightaway, but I don't think it's quite long enough for the draft to take a massive effect. So he's going to close up, but not going to be able to make a move on this lap either, as they all just stay single file for now. And Simon Edwards outbraked himself a bit, almost went off in turn 1. So now Lee Hughes is right on the back of him.
Yeah, he is, as James McRitchie, who's got lap traffic involved.
Car off in front of him.
Yep, go on.
That was Kirkman, I think. No, that was a lap car. Simon Maltby actually spun out from 13th right in front of him as we went on board with McRitchie there.
Yeah, so let's get ourselves a replay. There is James McRitchie. He gets himself ahead. There's number 34 machine. Lap traffic early on in this event. That is Daniel Tufts in the number 34 machine who got in play there. But it's outside your top 10. But of course, the field runs deep here on Monday night Skippies. We go back though to the battles going on towards the front of your field. Let's go on board for a moment with Andrew Leach in the number 502 car. He's got himself Anthony Jones ahead of him, but actually I'd say Jones has got the better run over Ewan Patterson as they come in towards turn number 1 and 2. 5 laps of this motor race can be scored complete this time by, and live timing scoring is available. Use RaceSpotTV/timing for that one. Andrew Leach then in that 10th position, not close enough to the rear of Anthony Jones, in fact losing a little bit of time. But Simon Edwards parting that pressure on right now on Clay Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes got the lead back there in turn 1, but Simon Edwards is all over him to get it back as they come back over the bridge again here for the 5th time. He's got a slightly tighter line going around there as well, so he's going to try and set him up going into the chicane. It's not quite wide enough to make a move though, but you can see Edwards is slightly faster than they use all around this racetrack by the looks of it. He gets slightly sideways into that corner. We don't really know where he's going to be able to make the move except into turn 1. So you might set him up here coming down the straightaway. He gets right on his back bumper, which doesn't even exist, right under the rear wing, rather, and see what he can do here on the exit. Lee Hughes gets slightly better exit actually. I think Edwards was too close. Clark Williams is closing from behind as well, but I think they're going to stay like this for now, unless he can get to draft and make a really, really late dive. He's going to have a look, and he is going to make the move as they come up on lap traffic, and Lee Hughes is out. Oh, he managed to save it.
Somehow Claire Hughes is still going in this motor race, but Claire Hughes got a big piece of contact. The replay coming up on your screen there from a piece of lap traffic coming out of pit road. They're side by side. They went free wide. Claire Hughes went airborne and somehow still keeps going, Linus.
That was incredible save from Lee Hughes. I don't know how much damage he has, but he's keeping the pace now and still got Edwards behind him, so have to see how many laps he can keep going here as we get another replay. That lap traffic, he's staying to the right, he's not doing anything wrong, it's just they were side by side and can't really do anything, so he's lucky to have saved that, and well, could have been a disaster for all of the guys at the front.
Well, Simon Edwards had some issues on Sunday night Skippies with lap traffic, and well, it's Claire Hughes today having issues on the exit of the final corner. They will come. Simon Edwards looking for the race lead right now. He's right behind as they come down in towards turn number 1. Simon Edwards will look down to the inside, in towards 1. That'll, of course, give the inside line in towards turn 2. You can see also the bent front wing even on Clay Hughes' car, but Simon Edwards back to the point.
Yeah, that wing's not going to hurt him too much all around the track, apart from possibly the straightaway where it might slow him down slightly, but he's keeping up well with this group that has now formed up into an 8-car battle actually all the way back to Ewan Pattinson in P8. Simon Edwards though still at the point, doing a really good job. See if he can break away from the use here now that he gets gotten ahead, because he looked like he was slightly quicker all the way around the track. So with Lee Hughes' slight damage to that front wing, he might be able to pull a little bit of a gap, and he's actually doing it now. So I think that will close a bit again when they come back onto the straightaway.
You can see the gap is about half attempt. In fact, it's exactly half of a second as they work themselves towards the final corner on this racetrack, and it dips again below half a second. Behind, you've got yourselves close battle going on. Ben Daniels has got the fastest lap of the day in the 027 car, and Ben Daniels 113.755, his fastest lap of the day. That last time by 113.899 was his lap time. He's got Lee Anderson just ahead of him here, Linus, and Daniels is not satisfied with 7th place.
No, he's not. He's going to do everything he can when he gets up to the back of the cars in front to get some more position, but he just braked a little bit too late there once again and just can't get really close enough to Lee Anderson and the guys in front of him. But he's still got quite a few laps to do it. We're on lap 8 out of 20, so we're still over 12 laps to go. And this is not a good place to pass either. Everybody's got the draft from the car in front down the straight, so he doesn't really have any advantage anywhere other than his possible ability to go faster through the corners, which seems to be absent just now. So he's actually dropping back once again.
You say no opportunity apart from the front straightaway. You're kind of right, because actually I say that Jack Hobbs looking over Dave Kirkman, battle for 14th place on track. Overtaking is at a premium at this racetrack here. Jack Hobbs, even though he saw the puff of smoke from Dave Kirkman, couldn't make a move into turn 6 there and has to stay behind as they work onto the front straightaway once again. Overtaking Linus at this track is complicated. We stay with the Kirkman-Hobbs battle in towards turn number 1, and Hobbs can't make a move but ahead. Ewan Patterson's got himself ahead of Clark Williams.
He has, and well, Clark Williams has dropped from 3rd all the way back down to 8th in that group, so something must have happened to him at the beginning of the lap. Possibly had enough or something in turn number 1.
Yeah, let's get a
replay of that.
There is Clark Williams, and there is what we thought was a replay. And yeah, he just gets a slowdown penalty by the looks of it. He loses a lot of time getting that slowed down on the exit of that's going to be turn number 6 on track, because he runs a little bit wide here and then runs onto the gravel, and then all of a sudden just slows down dramatically, Linus, and all the drivers just start filing past him.
Yeah, that's a very, very unfortunate slowdown penalty he got there in a bad place, and now he's dropped all the way back down to P number 9. And well, he's actually on pit road as well, so maybe he's got some damage or black flag that we haven't seen.
Yep, so Clark Williams is on towards pit road on the 98 machine. We don't often expect pit stops here in Monday night Skippys in support of the calm zone. Anthony Catt, however, is close to the rear of Claire Hughes in the number 23 car as they work themselves up and over the bridge. Then it's a sequence of right-handers, then they'll come through into a left-hand turn right now, but Anthony Catt putting that pressure on Claire Hughes for 2nd.
He really is. He's doing all he can, and you can clearly tell now that Lee Hughes has got some sort of problem, because Simon Edwards has pulled away, and Anthony Catt is all over the back of him, and I think he's going to get a pretty good run here now coming out of the last corner onto the front straightaway. He's going to back off slightly to try and get a good exit. He does. He's got the overspeed, not by much, but here he comes. Don't see if Lee Hughes is going to defend or not, but Catt is going to move to the inside, and he's almost going to clear him before the turn, actually.
He will, as there is Anthony Catt getting himself
Here comes Cox
past.
as well.
Oh my word, that's close. And of course we know that Claire Hughes has got himself that front wing damage that he had early on in the race when he went airborne down into turn number 2, and all of a sudden we said it might not be an issue, but it has become an issue for Claire Hughes, losing himself 2nd place, and now Matt Cox is right behind Claire Hughes in the battle for 3rd place on track.
Yes, and Cox doesn't. If Lee Hughes has got speed issues here, Cox isn't going to want to drop too much time to Catt here either, so he'll want to get by as soon as possible, because he's got Lee Anderson right behind him as well, breathing down his neck. But Hughes looks to be in control and have good speed down through the infield section. It's just on the straightaway where he's lacking, so He's still going to be in this group, but I don't think he's going to be able to get even a top 5 with the front straightaway speed that he's got, unless he can tuck him behind Cat here and somehow get all the air off his nose. See what they can do this time.
Yeah, well, on board Lee Anderson, who's in 5th place in that double 3-7 machine in towards turn number 1, and they are going to remain line astern for the time being. Claire Hughes looks down to the inside, isn't able to make the pass over Anthony Cat in towards turn number 2. Your top 5 are separated right now by 2.8 seconds, but your race leader, Simon Edwards, has been checking out. And actually, let's have a look at the lap times here, Linus. And Anthony Cat has been losing about a third of a second a lap over Simon Edwards.
He has. Edwards has really checked out on the field, and obviously it wasn't just because Hughes had the damage. Cat isn't keeping up either, so Simon Edwards has got this pretty much in the bag now, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, but obviously still just over 8 laps to go, so a lot can still happen. As Anderson had a look on Cox back there, but he had to back out, coming back into the last corner again and back onto the straightaway.
I mean, we talk about the fact that some of these drivers run on Sunday night Skippys as well as Monday night, but of course, Linus, these drivers also run on the official iRacing Skip Barber Racing School series that takes place pretty much every other hour on iRacing. How much advantage, though, is there running in a big grid race like Sunday night Skippys for the likes of Simon Edwards, who is leading this field in terms of not only setup, but also drive time?
Well, it's a lot of different skill groups coming into every single race in the official series. Some can be really easy, some can be really tough, and the Sunday night Skippys has kind of the same skill level as this, at least at the front of the group here. So I think the Sunday night Skippys is the best comparison and preparation you can have for the Monday night race, and especially for Simon Edwards, because the official, you can have one race that's really hard, like I said, and one that's really easy, and a lot of things can happen. And so I think the Sunday night Skippers is the best possible preparation for Simon Edwards, since it's the same kind of racing with the same kind of people pretty much.
Running aboard a RaceSpotTV's own Paul Smith, running in the 11th position right now. A good run actually by Paul Smith. He's got Nicholas, not Nicholas Vaughan, he's got Jake Ridlington ahead of him in the 10th position right now. And a good run by Paul Smith. He's had the ups and downs on Monday Night Skippys on the time that we've seen him running this season, and this isn't a bad showing by Paul Smith.
Well, he's having a really good day. He's just on the back of 10th place here, so it could potentially be a top 10, and he's got 5 seconds to the car behind, so he's got nothing to worry about in his rearview mirrors for the rest of this race, I don't think. So if he can just stay on the back of Jake here and force him into a mistake, or even draft past him coming down the straightaway, he's still got 6 laps to make a pass. So he's got plenty of time to get in that top 10, and if something happens ahead, he might even get further into it.
I had RaceSpot Wife saying don't jinx Paul, so we're going to move away, shall we say, from the number 33 car for the time being, and let's move up to a little bit further higher in your field. Ben Daniels and Anthony Jones, they are scrapping at it for 6th place on track, and I just see Lee Anderson dropping outside of your top 20. In fact, Lee Anderson has had some form of an issue because he's fallen down to 23rd place, and I think he's coming towards pit road here. There we are. There is Ben Danielson on Lee Anderson even on pit road. He has had an issue somewhere on track.
He got ran into from behind by Ben Daniels going into turn 4, like you can just see on the replay there as well. That's a very unfortunate incident, but trying to pass each other, one just braking too early or one missing the braking point. So you can see it again here coming down the hill.
Oh,
he just runs straight into the back of him.
Yeah, and then of course no rear wing on the number 337 car of Lee Anderson, falling down outside of your top 25 right now is Lee Anderson. Not a good day for him on the office. Let's go back on board, shall we, with Claire Hughes in the number 23 car, running in 4th position. Has lost that position to Matt Cox right now. And Claire Hughes, he in the last season and a half. He's had that up and down luck, shall we say, Linus, and he's either been battling for the race lead or battling to stay in the top group.
Yeah, well, he's had a fairly good season, but he's got some less good results as well, unfortunately. But today now it looks like, despite that incident early on, it looks like he's still going to be able to get at least the top 5 here. And he's looking on Matt Cox again going into turn 1. He's just not getting quite close enough because of that damage, so that's obviously hurting him. And Pattinson is right on the back as well, so despite that incident, he's going to get a top 5, which I would say is a really good result for him here today.
Ahead, you've got your race leader. That is Simon Edwards, 2.3 second advantage right now over Anthony Catt. And over the last couple of laps, Simon Edwards has been building up that race lead. Although last time by, Catt was a smidgen, an iota, if we can say, ahead of Simon Edwards in terms of lap speed, about 0.05 of a second faster than Simon Edwards. But Anthony Catt, it seems to be that he's now running for second more than anything else.
Yeah, they've been working some lap traffic as well, which could come into play, but we see the lap car getting out of the way there for Anthony Catt as they come into the last corner. So I think these two are just trying to save their stuff and I'll make it till the end as we get 4 laps to go of this race. But Catt, obviously he wants to be there. If Simon Edwards makes a mistake, you never know, lap traffic could get in the way. He could put a wheel in the grass and spin off, so Catt is definitely not going to lift, but I think it's going to be slightly on the safe side just to make sure he doesn't take himself off the track.
And lap traffic here, Linus, is probably more of a premium than some of the other racetracks we go to, mainly because of the fact that lap time here is less than a minute 15. So you do end up with more lap traffic than you'll probably see on a normal Monday Night Skippy broadcast.
Yeah, it's a very short track, so you catch up to the lap traffic pretty quickly, and I think we usually see more of it than we have done today. With quite a few cars falling out, there isn't much traffic to lap actually, which is probably good for our leaders, but still they have to work with some of them, as Edwards is about to catch another one here in about a lap or two, so see how he can navigate that.
As we're looking on board with Ben Daniels in the OT7 car, he's got Anthony Jones just ahead of him. Been catching Anthony Jones off over the last couple of laps or so. He made an incident on lap number 14 that we didn't see, lost 6 seconds, but Ben Daniels is back in charge mode.
He is, and he's looking here at Anthony Jones. Jones goes defensive though, but ahead of these guys is 7 seconds up to P5, so this is about as far as Ben Daniels is going to get. As he moves to the outside, he's going to brake really early though. Don't know if he's going to try and get the undercut, but Jones has really good control over that car. He's going to hit the apex, and Daniels is going to have no chance to get by right there. He's going to have to wait until the next lap, as we have 3 laps to go. And behind him, Paul Smith has just moved up into P number 9.
He has. Let's go.
He's gotten passed back by Ridlington again, so he's back down into 10th.
Yeah,
no, he's in 9th. Somebody has fallen out from the top 8.
Let's try and figure that one out, shall we? Clark Williams, I think, is the driver who's fallen out. So there's a replay of Paul Smith trying to go down to the inside in turn number 2, not making the pass work, going then to the high side in towards the sweepers at turn 4, 5 and 6 on track. But Clark Williams is the driver who has had an issue and fallen all the way down to P number 14.
Chris Malcolm went off as well, I believe, in the last corner and just had to quit the race.
Yep, so there is Clark Williams. He actually gets up the position over the number 16 car of Simon Maltby. That was in towards turn number 1. And the two went side by side there in towards turn 2 as well. Clark Williams wasn't able to hold on in towards that second corner, but then things changed after that. But Jake Woodington and Paul Smith again close. This is the battle going on for 8th place on track. So all of a sudden, Paul Smith has gone from attacking to playing defense. And we look from the rear right now. Behind, actually, it's very close. A 3 wide almost battle in towards turn number 2. That is Matthew Delamane, Simon Maltby, and Lozado Edos in the number 42 car.
Having a really good battle here, but it seems like they're just gonna straighten that out right away again. So a couple of positions gained there and a couple of positions lost, but nothing major going on in that battle for now.
Yeah, we're trying to work out what happened because Lizardo Erdos lost a lot of time in terms of our timing screens, and I can't see why that happened, but it is the final lap of the motor race here for Simon Edwards, and he has had an absolutely dominant ride so far here today. He's got just a few corners left to go, and well, Linus, textbook performance by Simon Edwards.
Yeah, after he got in the lead, he just took off from Liu and the rest of the pack, and they have not been able to keep up at all. And Kai has been slightly quicker the last couple of laps, but I think Edwards is trying to save his stuff and not just making it till the end. As he's coming down here towards the last couple of corners, cutting slightly there. Don't get a slowdown now, Simon. That would be absolutely terrible at this point of the race. So very good race, not any major mistakes. Very good clean run from him, and Kai did really well in second place as well. Pattinson has actually gotten past Liu as well for fourth, so that's about how the top 5 is going to finish, as they've been running for quite a while.
Simon Edwards then will take the checkered flag and will get victory here on Club UK&I Monday Night Skippys in support of the calm zone. You can see the weaving going on. Anthony Catt will get second place, Matt Cox in third, behind Jake Ridlington versus Paul Smith. It's going to be a battle to the start finish line, and Ridlington is not going to be able to get past Paul Smith, so Smith will finish in the 8th position, Jake Ridlington in third, and I think there Simon Maltby and Matthew Delaman is going to be close as they come towards the stripe, but the 03 car will just get the advantage, Linus.
Yeah, quite a few close battles here, but the straight just isn't long enough to be able to get the draft and make the pass before the line, unfortunately. As we have another battle here coming into the last couple of corners. That is Daniel Hunt racing Chris J. Morris for P number 19. Morris is ahead at the moment.
Oh!
Hunt is looking to the inside contact, but they're gonna keep it straight, so wow, that nearly went bad for both of them.
Yep, and Daniel Hunt will finish inside the top 20. Chris Morris ahead of them, though, will claim 19th position. That is the last of your runners. Let's have a look then through your final race results here on Club UK&I Monday Night Skippys. Simon Edwards claims victory by 2.4 seconds over Anthony Catt. Matt Cox will run in third place, 4.8 seconds behind Simon Edwards, your race winner. Ewan Patterson in fourth, Claire Hughes in fifth place, Anthony Jones in sixth, Ben Daniels seventh, Paul Smith in eighth position, Jake Williamson in ninth, and James McRitchie rounds out your top 10. There are the remainder of the results up on your screen, and well, overtaking, as we said here, Linus, is a premium at Oran Park, but we saw a couple of good little battles along the way.
Yeah, we did. Had quite a few good battles. Most of the passing though being made at the end of the front straightaway, because of the nature of the track, but still battles all the way through the field as always, and unfortunately not for the win though, but we saw an amazing save from Liu, who had all four wheels off the track, hitting that car coming out of pit road, so that could have ended in a complete disaster. And good race as well for our own Paul Smith coming back in P number 8. That was very good race from him.
Club UK&I Monday Night Skippys, of course, is in support of the Calm Zone, a male mental health charity designed to lower male suicide rates, which is, of course, one of the biggest killers of males under the age of 40. So check out the Calm Zone if you have the time to do so. We have got a driver, at least, to talk to. That is Dave Kirkman. Take it away there, Linus.
Dave, good race for you. Starting 19th, making it up to P number 12. Had a pretty good battle there towards the end with Clark Williams as well. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I had a really nice battle with James McRitchie and then Jack Cobbs at the end. Just driving my Skippy as wide as possible for the whole race, really. But it's a really awesome track. It's like a kart track. It was really good fun.
How hard is it to pass, apart from going into turn number 1 and 2, like around this whole track? We didn't see much passing at all because it looks really narrow. Is it that hard to pass, or can you just not get a run?
Yeah, it is very difficult to pass. In fact, in the practice, I thought if we've got a lot of lap traffic, it's going to be very difficult to get past them. And it's just so narrow that it's very difficult to kind of judge where people are. So everyone has to be very sensible when they're driving around here. And obviously, the only passing opportunity really is into turn 1 and 2. And when you're side by side around there, you're right on the edge all the time. So actually being able to balance the car and keep it under control is very, very difficult because it's so loose.
Well, considering you made it till the end and made up spots, you did a good job with that. So congratulations on your top 12, and see you next week at Barber.
Yep, thank you very much. It's good fun. Anyone who's watching this should give it a go, is what I say. Definitely, it's good fun.
Well, thank you very much there, Dave Kirkman, coming home in 12th place. Ahead of him, PMS coming home in the 8th position. I hope you don't mind me calling that to you, Paul. 8th position here today. 25 seconds back from the race leader, but a good little battle you had along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I am absolutely over the moon with what happened there in that race, because that is by far the best race I've ever done in this championship. And great little battle with Jake Rudlington. Hats off to him. He made it difficult, and I had to put it a little bit on the line going into turn number 1, but it worked. And yeah, plus 9 positions. Who would have thought that for a Fat Northerner?
I know, right? I almost wish as though we had the onboard camera for you here today, because you've been working yourself hard. And a top 10 position, what does it mean for you in terms of Club UK and Ireland when they're at Skippys?
In terms of this series, I'm still learning. I mean, a lot of these drivers are vastly superior in terms of their skill and ability in the car. And Oran Park, actually, in the official races, has been a bit of a bogey track for me. I've been struggling with the car, but this evening with this car, it just seemed to work for me. And, hopefully I can take that forward going on to next week.
Yeah, next week, of course, Barber Motorsports Park. It's very similar in some ways, very different in others, but what's your thoughts heading into Barber?
It's a tricky track. It's difficult to overtake at again. But in these cars, it is fun. It is a really fun track. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Monday Night Skippys, I'm having a blast in this series.
Paul Matthew Smith there coming home in the 8th position. That is, actually, no, it's not all we got time for, because you got your race winner, Simon Edwards, claiming victory in the number 52 car, and I'm going to hand it over to you there, Linus.
Simon Edwards, first of all, congratulations on the win. That looked like a very hard-fought battle at the beginning there until you caught some air, and then you just got past him and drove away. So what was your take on that incident at first, and then how worried were you that Cat was going to catch you towards the end?
On the incident, I feel really bad because I was deliberately trying to get clear offline just to test him. I wasn't doing anything more than that, and I didn't actually see the car coming out the pits because clear was blocking my view. So I feel bad that I had some hand in that. I kept quiet over the radio just in case anybody else hadn't seen, just to see, if he could still get a good result out of it. And he was driving well with that damage, so that was good that he did that. On the Anthony behind me, I was just pacing myself, to be honest with you. I could go another couple of tenths faster, but it's just a bit risky around here to do that, so I was just pacing myself to his pace. It's just a track I really like, so I go well around here.
Well, you did a good job holding him off and setting your own pace up there, not making any mistakes. So that's 2 wins in a row for you now. What are your takes on the next track, Barber? You think you can make your 3 in a row?
I'm not sure I can make it 3 in a row. I'm not the best around Barber, but I do like Barber. So we'll just see. I'm just trying to enjoy this season. I'm still in with a shout, and I'll just try and keep a positive attitude rather than getting wound up by things.
Well, congratulations on the win and a very good drive today, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, and thanks for the broadcast as usual.
As always, there is Simon Edwards then with your victory. That is all we've got time for, though, here today on Club UK&I Monday Night Skippies. Simon Edwards is your winner. Well, let's say thank you, of course, as ever, to Ismail Mallow, Track Cams, for Gourmets as well, to the people over ATVO for making our broadcast so much easier, and to Nick Fisher for live timing and scoring. But it is goodbye from Oran Park Raceway, and we'll see you in 1 week from Barber Motorsports Park. Good night from Monday Night Skippies.